Derby County have a really important championship game coming up this weekend, so they'll be wanting to keep the injuries to a minimum. However, a few players could be missing out, while a few players return to the squad after injuries. You've obviously got the new signings who could jump in as well. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look into the injury latest news coming from Paul Warne and his press conference today with BBC Radio Derby. And if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn on that notification bell to stay tuned for all of my latest Derby County and EFL Championship and League One content heading your way across the course of the next season. Now, as we head into this game versus Cardiff City, it's obviously massively important for Derby County to build on the momentum that they started versus Bristol City and what was a very impressive 3-0 victory, a very competent performance on the ball, a very good defensive display by all accounts. Now, as we head into this one, we do have an injury doubt in Tawanda Chirewa. He will be out for the next 2 games as a result of concussion protocols in an injury he suffered during international duty. Now, it's very disappointing for Tawanda Chirewa to not be able to be involved this weekend, but I think it opens up the door for an opportunity for one of the new lads to get onto the bench. If not both of them, it also opens up the door for a return for Blackett, who's been back in training since just before the Bristol City game, and he looks as if he could be set to be involved this weekend as well. You've also got to look at the likes of Ben Osborn and Kane. They were both due to train today and they should be available for this upcoming weekend. However, in my opinion, I think Kane may be one of the ones who misses out. I think Ben Osborn will certainly be back in the squad. Now, looking ahead to the Cardiff City game, I have done a full match preview. I posted that earlier on today, so if you do want to go and check that out, make sure you go and check out that video after you've watched this one. But now let's look ahead to that game and let's think of these injury doubts. You've obviously got Jake Rooney who's out, and now Tawanda Chirewa. You've got Kane who has trained for the first time today as per BBC Radio Derby. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this squad is selected and to see what players are available. I think we're in a position now where the likes of Washington and Barkhazer may not even get into the squad. You obviously look at someone like Blackett, who has been on the fringes and obviously had his injury problems since he arrived. There's obviously a possibility he might not even be involved with the new signing of Marcus Harness. Now, obviously, the injury to Tawanda Chirewa it's a disappointing one. I think he's been involved in every single game since he arrived. Obviously, he didn't get on the pitch versus Bristol City, but he was there, he was involved, and that's important. Obviously, he misses now. I think it's not tomorrow, Saturday's game, and also the game the week after as a result of his concussion protocol. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one goes, and obviously who's going to replace him. We've got the likes of Marcus Harness, Blackett, Ben Osborn could jump on the bench to replace him, and obviously this is what Derby County have to deal with now. It's what Paul Warne's got to deal with. There's an abundance of talent in this squad now, and we've got to find a way to make it all fit and make it all work. We obviously already know that we're now down to essentially I'd say 24, 25 players for that 20-man squad, obviously with the missing of Jake Rooney and Tawanda Chirewa. Obviously Kane I think will probably miss out this week as they look to build his fitness back up, because you've got Joe Ward who's fit, who can play on the right, you've got Ryan Niambi who's fit and can play on the right, and if he was to come in further forward, you've obviously got the likes of Marcus Harness, Tom Barkhazer and Blackett, who can all come off the bench and play that position. So for me, I think Kane will be one of the ones to miss out. I mentioned it a few times previously. Jake Rooney has posted over on social media that he'll be due back soon, a few weeks away, and Paul Warne confirmed that today. Obviously, not quite where he wants to be yet, but he's not that far away, which I think is massively important for Derby County to get an extra body in that defensive line who's sort of a defensive-minded right back but can play centre-half. He can also play in that holding midfield role. I don't necessarily think we need more players, but it's always good to have extra bodies in the squad. I think it will be really difficult for Rooney to get back into the squad when you look at the players ahead of him now, and obviously the fact that he's pretty much been out for nearly a year I think actually it'll be over a year. I know he came back for was it Matlock away during pre-season, but then we never saw him again after he did an injury during the trip to Spain. So obviously something massively important is the return of Ben Osborn. I do think he'll be on the bench. I don't think he'll start. I think Ozo, Adams and Kenzo were brilliant during that game versus Bristol City before the international break. And the important thing when looking into this squad of players and who's available is, are we going to be able to translate another performance like Bristol City to a game versus Cardiff, where Cardiff City aren't necessarily in the greatest of form. They don't necessarily have the greatest of confidence heading into this game after only scoring once in their 5 league games, 4 league games, 5 league games, whatever it is, and they've only picked up 1 point, which was a 1-1 draw in the derby game versus Swansea. So it's going to be interesting to see how Paul Warne sets up into this game. I think it's certainly a game that we should go out with the attempt to win. I think it's one of those where I think Cardiff City will be down there with us come at the end of the season, and I think what we need to do with those teams who are in and around us, I think we need to make sure we pick up points in those games and we don't lose ground to any of them, because obviously if it becomes a scrap towards the end, it's going to be, did you beat them in the first half of the season? They're going to be the questions that are going to be asked, and I think that's what Derby County have to do this season. Now obviously there's another international break, I believe, around November 16th. And I think what Derby County need to do, there might be one before that actually, in October. But what I believe Derby County need to do in between that is, if we can stay unbeaten for this next run, I think we put ourselves in a really good position to keep ourselves in the division. I think we've got 5 games, maybe 6, up until that next international break, and I think having the ability to be able to stay unbeaten for that period of games, 6 games. Yes, we've got Norwich, we've got Sheffield United to play in there as well. And yes, it is going to be difficult, but I think it's a perfect opportunity for Derby County to show some tactical nous, to show what they're all about. And obviously there's not a great deal that anybody can do about it, really. We've just got to make it work. Now, I do think that Derby County can stay unbeaten during the period. I think it'll probably be a couple of draws along the way. But I think what we need to start doing is picking up some points away from home. Now, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, I made a preview video about the Cardiff game. I'll make sure that's tagged in this video at some point, so make sure you click on the I button in the corner. It'll give you a selection of like 4 videos and the option to subscribe, so make sure you do subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Make sure you share this with all your Derby County friends and family, and let's see what comes this weekend. There'll be a video out tomorrow heading into that game. It's going to be a very interesting one. The matchday vlog will be out Saturday evening, so if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, hit the like button for this video, and I'll catch you in my next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.